One Piece chapter 949 is out, and guys, I'll just say this at the beginning. This chapter is going to pretty much be the background or the backbone of a lot of videos to come, just based off of not only character development but different ideas and things that I thought of while reading this chapter. I just felt this chapter, even not on the surface, included so much that I probably can't cover in this video, but at some point I will, because I feel like it's just so profound, and it's an embodiment of, not an embodiment, a culmination of Oda's story in this chapter. As far as, like, I mean, just throwing something out there, Luffy's development, I think in this chapter it showed a bunch of that, but we're gonna go through it and we're gonna just try to dissect this chapter as best as I can and just recap and talk about things that I like, things that I disliked. But if you enjoy videos like this, after the video you can drop a like, because that definitely helps out the channel, and subscribe for more content like it. You can go through the channel, there's definitely more things there, and of course I appreciate you guys tuning in. So without further ado, let's get into One Piece chapter 949, Mummy. So the chapter pretty much continues where it left off, where we're still in Udon and they're ringing off excitement bullets. And if you remember, the excitement bullets are Queen's creation, in which they touch you and you're infected with a virus of some sort. And of course in this chapter we find out what that virus is. But before that, we see Chopper, and Chopper has transformed into a different form and he's fighting with Luffy. We saw a cool combination attack. And while I was reacting to the chapter, my personal thing was Chopper has not done that much this entire arc. For the most part, he has been somewhat the ringleader of bringing Olin to Udon and been somewhat of a plot catalyst to progress the plot, and hasn't done much else. Even when he arrived to Udon, Chopper pretty much hid the entire time and let Luffy do the heavy lifting. And I guess at that point Chopper really couldn't do anything, so I appreciate Chopper just staying the hell out of the way and letting his captain do his thing. But I think for Chopper, he has been somewhat underutilized, because for Chopper in this arc, with so much bad things going on in regards to health and just different diseases and plagues, I would expect Chopper at some point to be very useful, even with Killer and him being there, for him to be the one to cure some of these diseases. And let's not even mention Ibisu Town and the people that ate the leftover smile. So Chopper is going to be important somewhere down the line. I know that for certain. I guess I'm just saying, up to this point, Chopper has been somewhat non-existent, other than a few moments. I know there were people that appreciated Chopper leading Olin to Udon and somewhat being the person in control there, because he knew the most about what Big Mom and what Olin her true identity was. However, I felt like we cannot marginalize someone like Chopper like that, because I feel like Chopper can offer so much more to the story than being a mascot just to lead Big Mom. I don't think that was a bad part of Wano or a bad plot point at all. I just think that's something that has to be pointed out and said, because Chopper is a good character and probably deserves more than that. I just don't like when good characters are relegated to just marginal supporting roles. I guess that's what I'm saying. The chapter also continues a showcase of this new group that's come together with Kawamatsu, Raizo, Kiku, Luffy, Old Man Hyo. All of these people are trying to fight off not only the soldiers of Old Maid, but the prisoners of Udon. Now it makes for an interesting scenario, because they're trying to convert and inspire the people of Udon without actually hurting them, also avoiding the excitement bullets. Something I want to point out here is Kid and his demeanor throughout this entire arc, or in the panels that we see. Throughout the One Piece story, every time we've seen Kid has a smile on his face, or he looks happy, or he looks savage. There's something about him that's upbeat and seems like no matter what, he's gonna do it his way to get things done. So while he's somewhat like Luffy, he's more menacing, right? In this chapter, this is the most dejected I've ever seen Kid. Even when Kaido pulled up and he was scared for a little bit, that quickly changed to a face of Kid wanting to take down Kaido, because that's just how he is. In this chapter, Kid is completely just down, and of course it stems from what's going on with Killer, because we see him as well and he's still laughing, fa 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 fa, and that's going to get to Kid. I presented the scenario of if this happened to Luffy, how he would react, and people said of course Luffy would go crazy, he would rage. But to add even more context, Kid has been with Killer his entire life pretty much. They're childhood friends, so for Kid it's going to hit a bit differently, even with Luffy and Zoro, because you can say they have a deeper bond. I'm expecting a lot from Kid this arc, and for him being dejected right now, I understand it, but hopefully he gets out of his funk to help the Straw Hats, or to help Luffy, not in a way to support Luffy, but to just show what he can do, because right now he's totally out of it. So like I said earlier, the disease that they were actually spreading is called the Mummy virus, and this of course is created by Queen, and this is of course an infectious disease that causes a high fever that sprouts from the area of infection. They say it's an unbearable pain, as if your body's on fire, blood comes spurting right out. So it's really bad stuff. So after this disease takes over your body, you're dried and withered, and of course you're contagious, so then you become a human weapon. With Queen doing this and getting some more information about his plague and this master disease, and this is one of his best creations, right? It gives some more credence to Kaido's crew and it not being as impressive as we know. Dropping something like this in a full-out war is causing chaos on the opposite end. And for Kaido's crew, it's becoming more apparent that, of course, their epithets, I think that I've mentioned this before, it's more so about like different things they can do and not about like just total fighting skill. Because for Jack, he's the drought because he, he creates like a wasteland wherever he goes using whatever tactics he might have. And it doesn't, of course, with Zoe, he used the weapons from Caesar. For Queen, he has a plague in which with human contact, coming in contact with these people, you can just infect the opposition. So for Kaido, it's starting to make more sense why he actually has calamities. And of course, those were the things that they were named early in the story, but now they've settled with commanders or superstars, all-stars. But it makes sense why they're actually calamities, because they're bringing forth devastation wherever they might go. But in the midst of everything Luffy and them were doing, they weren't exactly getting through to the people of Udon or the people in the Udon prison. And the reason for that is that they felt like they were in this situation because Luffy and them showed up. They're saying that they were content with every day going out and working for the Kibidango or working for whatever they were getting, and Luffy had to open their eyes. So for Luffy in this moment to do that, he took it upon himself to actually touch one of these people and round them up to let them know that whatever you're going through right now doesn't matter. What you have to actually focus on is the long-term effects of everything you've been through. At this point, you guys are suffering from PTSD of everything you've been through over the past 20 years, and you've become slaves. You actually are slaves. And because of that, and how badly you've been treated this entire time, you've accepted your fate and no longer have the fight within you to get out of your current situation. So for Luffy, rather than say it to them, and of course he said it to them as well, he jumped right into the fire to show them that he's willing to do it, and if he can overcome it by jumping right into it, they can too. Now these people have faced several years of oppression, so for them going through this is just how things are. And for Luffy, it was almost like he was hurting for them because they were about getting hurt, telling them that he's going to take down Kaido, destroying Old Maid, basically dropping the mic on Old Maid, bringing about hope. Shutenmaru saw a bit of that when Luffy was attacking Kaido, because inherently Luffy just exudes that. He exudes hope. And for them, seeing everything that Luffy did, he didn't only inspire the prisoners of Udon. Luffy inspired the people that were with him. Old Man Hio, Kawamatsu, Okiku, Raizo. They were reminded, or they were introduced to, how Luffy does things and how Luffy goes about inspiring others. This chapter was amazing on so many levels because it goes not only into leadership, but just progression of character. And I think it also speaks to the journey of One Piece. And again, I think it's just a parallel of life in general. And you start a life and you're young and you have an expectation of how you want your life to be. You want to become a doctor, right? And you want to become a doctor because of course going to school for that long, you're going to make a lot of money. But as you go through life and you go through school and you go through your residency, you realize that doctors and becoming a doctor isn't just about money. It's far from that. The hours you work, the time you have to put in, you have to really care about people to become a doctor. So I think for Luffy, his journey is to become the Pirate King. But every arc, slowly but surely, Luffy has to care about his surroundings. Geographically and politically, Luffy has to start caring about these things because indirectly, it affects his Pirate King status. If you're going around and you're liberating all these countries, you're negatively impacting the world government. So while becoming Pirate King isn't directly opposing the world government, they are the main antagonistic force of the story, and therefore, becoming the Pirate King and getting all these poneglyphs, it becomes more than just about what was laid out. It becomes more than just about finding the poneglyphs and defeating the other Yonko. As you go about your journey, you're gonna find people you care about. And even as you move on from island to island, you're still gonna care about these people, and Sanji's the perfect embodiment of that. Whereas Sanji was in Whole Cake Island caring about Zeph. And for Luffy, he's gonna go forward in his journey. Wano's gonna be on his mind. Fishman Island, Alabasta, Dressrosa. So for Luffy, he is understanding more and more the importance of not only becoming Pirate King, but changing the ecosystem, making the world a better place for the people he cares about. And I think it's been a perfect progressive system because Luffy as a character started out extremely naive, knowing nothing about the world. It's just him and his raft, and he wants a crew member, and he wants a great crew like Shanks's. But every arc, slowly but surely, has taught Luffy that it's not just about you. And I think this is perfect in the parallel with him and Zoro because Gyukimaru on that bridge told Zoro, it's not just about you. Of course, he doesn't know about Zoro's oath and his promise to Luffy and Kuina, but from what Zoro showed him about the Black Blades and being ignorant about Black Blades and the history of, it told him enough that Zoro only cares about getting stronger, irregardless, still in Joy Boy's word, of the true history of everything you're doing and the collateral impact that it has. So in a way, Zoro and Luffy, they're having the same development because the naivete of both of them are on similar levels, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, I know I'm going off the deep end with this, but this chapter just opened, it's like it opened so many pores, and now your Nen is unlocked, right? Because I think Luffy in this chapter was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. This chapter was great. For me, a 10 out of 10, right? This chapter just captured everything that One Piece is in a nutshell. Luffy's destiny, Luffy's brilliance, Luffy's luck, Luffy's inspiration, Luffy being Luffy. So for me, wonderfully done chapter. Guys, leave your thoughts below. How did you feel about the chapter? How did you feel about this speech from Luffy? Do you think it captured the essence of what the Pirate King is supposed to be? More and more Luffy's morphing into that right before our very eyes. Leave your thoughts below. Let me know how you feel. Like the video, be sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.